Hey Rogue Nation, this is Ashley here with Chip Rosales, one of the managing partners of Rogue Marketing. We're here today live with you with While You're Working Live, episode 4. Thanks for joining us on this All Hallows Eve. Today we're bringing to you some scary technologies, maybe.
Maybe. I don't think we have anything to fear, though. I mean, when you think about the innovations and all the news that's coming out of us, it can kind of seem scary, but really we have nothing to fear. We can actually use this technology and these innovations to give us a competitive advantage.
Which is great that you bring that up, because I think companies today see some of these new emerging technologies like chatbots and voice searches, and it's scary at first, but when you have some customer data to back it up, they get a little bit less scary.
Yeah, no, that's right. Ad Age had this great article this week that was talking about the data haves versus the data have-nots. And really what they found was that so many companies right now are giving up that valuable customer data by fast-tracking the sale, and they're giving it up to those big box retailers, the Amazons and the Facebooks of the world. And in doing that, they're missing out on having that personal connection with their customer. This article had some really great insights and some really great ways that people could move forward, including things like tagging taxonomy, really thinking about what it is that you want to measure and then figuring out how to go off and measure that, or building your own ecosystems through loyalty programs or apps that you might develop so that you can own that data. The insight, though, for a rogue listener is that if you are one of those data have-nots, all is not lost. You have the ability now to kind of look at what the data haves have done and the technologies that they cobbled together, and you can start thinking about the future. You can start thinking about what tomorrow looks like and actually building and measuring for that, and without the shackles of what the technology today has had to do to cobble together.
Which is the best approach, I think, of all. I mean, Google was in the first search engine, and look where they're at now. So, I mean, coming in a little bit down the road is not a bad thing, but you also want to consider coming in when these emerging technologies are really taking hold, which kind of brings us to our next point, the growth of voice search. And there's a lot of articles that are talking about this today, and there's a lot of chatter about it. So what did you find out?
If you've been watching the World Series or college football or any must-see television moment where you're actually going to watch commercials, you've probably seen that all those modern technologies are actually inundating the commercial airwaves. The reason, so YouTube television or the Echo shows, these things are dominating the commercials right now. And the reason is that voice search, if you're not thinking about voice search and Alexa skills, you're really missing out on a new frontier. Forrester came out with a report this week that said 22 million Echoes are going to be sold in 2017.
Wow, that's almost double than what they did last year, right?
That's exactly right. 2016 they sold 11 million, and this year they're going to sell 22 million. It's been interesting though, because when we're working with clients, we found that customers that are putting products on a shelf, they're worried about shelf space. Now what you're having to compete with is screen space or voice airspace. And that's something that you just need to start thinking about now so that you don't get further behind.
That's interesting. And the voice search is really cool, and I think most people don't even realize that how much they actually use it already. And so from a business standpoint, knowing that that's the next frontier it's almost fun to explore those things too. I don't think it needs to be spooky on this, especially on Halloween.
No, not so.
The next one, speaking of spooky, it's almost interesting that people are saying robots are taking over, but with the emerging artificial intelligence, which some of which is already around us right now. If you've ever interacted with a chatbot, that's artificial intelligence. I mean, people have already built that on the back end to respond to you and interact with their customer base, to try and build them down the lead funnel to make sure their customer experience is correct. And artificial intelligence already is out there. So
it's true. There's this saying out there that says, is it the magician or the wand that actually has the magic? And technology is a tool. Artificial intelligence is a tool. It's a great wand, if you will. But you need to know about how to use it. And so there were some great articles this week that really spoke to artificial intelligence. For example, there's this software out there right now that actually measures how you as an individual might respond to messages or to advertisements that you've been seeing, and actually gives you a customer sentiment. Maybe you're somebody who responds to exclusivity, or you're somebody who is, responds to guilt, or maybe wants to achieve something. And in doing that, you have become, your quotient, if you will, is I respond to guilt statements, or I respond to exclusivity statements. What this software does is it allows you to receive messages in a way that you like to hear them.
It's really smart.
The other thing that's coming out, it must be Christmas because all the cameras are getting better and they're doing all this really cool stuff. If you haven't heard, Photoshop's now made a filter that if you blinked your eyes, it will actually open them up for you automatically.
It's great. My mom always closes her eyes in every photo. It's that's magic in and of itself.
That is,
She's
it
able
is
to
magic.
do that.
There's other things like, if you're taking any racy photos, then there's the opportunity to secure and lock those away.
Okay.
So really cool technology there. And then there's also this Google Click, which is basically a little square camera. You can
This
hardly
is
see
cool.
it.
Yeah.
And you can go anywhere in a room, and the idea is that it allows you as the user to be part of the experience without having to worry about, did I take the picture? Did I get it just right? It actually looks for the perfect lighting, the perfect everything, and takes these pictures for you. And so that's a really exciting, albeit creepy, kind of way that things are out there. And really, it's all about how we use this technology. So sure, it's kind of left to be seen if it's going to be a creepy technology or if it's something that you can use for competitive advantage.
I think that's up to the businesses and agencies like us to help kind of navigate those waters and figure it
Absolutely.
out. And thanks for tuning in this week. That's all we have for you. As always, you can get these links over on our blog. We'll post that link soon. And be sure to tune in next week for episode 5 and follow us on all our social channels. We'll see you next week.